Huh. Directional solidification and its need in casting. As the molten metal cools and solidifies in the mold, it shrinks or contracts in volume. Due to varying sections of the cast and different rate of heat losses to adjoining mold wall, some portion of the molten metal tends to solidify more quickly, resulting in a voids and cavities than other portion. These voids must be filled with incoming liquid metal from the feeder or riser. Hence, the casting must be designed with respect to the feeding system such that the part of the mold that is furthest from the feeder head must solidify first and then proceed through the casting towards the feeder head. Solidification, which is made to occur in a particular direction, is known as directional solidification. So, directional solidification can be described as a solidification of molten metal taking place in such a manner that the liquid feed metal is always available for the portion of the metal that is solidifies, uh, just just solidifying. It also be described as a solidification of molten metal taking place progressively from the thinnest part, which solidifies first, and towards the feeder head riser, which solidifies last. Note that the directional solidification and progressive solidification, parallel solidification, are the two types of solidification in castings and hence not to be confused with each other. Although these processes are share some common traits, the difference lies in that the progressive solidification, the cooling and solidification process begins at the wall of the casting and works in the way inward with directional solidification. The process of solidification begins at the bottom of the casting and works its way to the top. Methods, factors controlling the directional solidification. The various methods of directional solidification of the molten metal and hence to obtain sound casting is listed and discussed as follows. Proper design and positioning of the gates and risers. Second one, use of insulating pads and sleeves for risers. Use of chills in the mold. So next one, incorporating blind risers, and the last one, use of exothermic riser compounds. Yes, first bit, what is proper design and composition of the gates? Proper design and composition of the gates. So here in the proper design, the shape of the riser must be such that it must lose minimum heat, keeping the metal in molten state. This can meet the spherical shaped riser. However, its incorporating in the mold is difficult. The next best shape is cylinder, sand, then a square cylinder, and then a square. Cylinder risers is common and at least 15 to 20% larger in diameter than the section is required for the feed risers. Height is usually 1.5 times greater than the diameter to increase the volume of surface ratio area. The bottom of the cylinder riser can be shaped as hemisphere, the riser must be positioned suitably so that the solidification is directional from the casting extremities towards the riser. Second one, use of insulating pads and sleeves for risers. The sides of the risers are insulated with sleeves made from suitable material so as to achieve lower solidification rate in the riser. This enhances the better feeding of the casting. Sleeves made from the plaster of Paris are used for non-ferrous castings, while perlite sleeves are used for ferrous casting. Cellulose material like rice hulls, rice hulls are also used. Insulating pads can also be employed in various parts of the mold to decrease the cooling rate in thin sections so that to promote directional solidification. Next one, use of chills in the mold. A chill is a metallic object of suitable shape inserted in the sand mold to improve solidification of a particular region in the casting. So, accessible to a riser, thereby promoting directional solidification. A chill will produce local chilling and equalize the rate of solidification throughout the casting. A chill may be classified as internal chill or external chill depending upon the location in the mold. Chills placed inside the mold cavity are called internal chills. Then the cavity is filled with molten metal. The chill will melt and become part of the casting. Thus, internal chills are made from the same material as the cast part. On the other hand, external chills having high thermal conductivity are placed on the edge of the mold cavity, thereby forming a part of the wall on the mold cavity. External chills are used to increase the feeding distance of the riser to reduce the number of risers. So, fourth one, use of blind risers. A conventional riser is open to atmosphere, whereas a blind riser is completely enclosed in the sand mold. As a result, the mold metal in the blind risers cools slowly, cools slowly, uh, cools slowly and slowly and stay in liquid longer, thereby promoting directional solidification. So next one, use of exothermic riser compound. Exothermic riser compounds are loose materials, essentially a mixture of metal oxides, Fe, Mn, cobalt, nickel, copper, iron, manganese, and aluminum sprinkled on the top of riser in place of insulating powder. Their function is to prevent heat loss from the top of riser and also add some heat to the molten metal in the riser, thereby allowing the metal to stay hotter, necessary for achieving directional solidification. So, today it is over. Tomorrow we will see some more e learning classes.